Alrighty, well, everybody, welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney 2. So last time we got to the halfway point of case 1. At this point, if you missed that, we are currently playing as Susato trying to defend, remember me? And then, we are currently trying to get the photographer onto trial at this point, so, yeah, so... Let's dive right back in. I don't know where Jason and Tyler are right now, but we'll fill in for them currently, so. You have a strong sense of responsibility, I know. That's why you decide to shoulder the burden alone.
I was just scared of my failures coming to light. That's all. So I hope to retrieve the substance from the Englishman before anyone found out.
Okay, there we go.
Before the trial started, do you remember what you said, Susato? That you had no doubt in my mind about my innocence. That you stand by me to the last. I remember. Yet I did deserve your trust in me. I hid important details to you, Susato. I completely betrayed your faith in me. Hit me, Susato! I deserve it! No, in fact, throw me to the floor! Oh, no, that's too good for me as well. Drag me through the city streets!
Ship material? Question mark?
I'm no better, you know. Oh? Even though in my heart, I knew you pulled the knife blade from its bread's back. There was just a brief moment when, in my mind, I doubted you. Susato. I'm sorry. After I stood here, promised that I stand by you and always be by your side. I betrayed your faith in me too. And as such, I failed you as a lawyer. Oh no!
I think this situation has taught you both a valuable lesson. Placing your unbridled faith in another is no easy task.
Yes, Father. That fact has certainly struck home.
Is the stream locked for you guys? Is the stream locked for anybody else?
Oh dear.
I can see if I can adjust anything on my end, but...
Oh, what's going on?
Just some bitrate stuff. 65,000. Let's try 65,000.
Seems to look good for me, although I don't know if this is a Twitch or a Discord issue. It looks fine for me.
It seems like, seems just Twitch. I have the bitrate, so maybe that'll help. Anyway, continuing. Go ahead.
Which is why I can see more clearly now. So, Ray? Yes? Can you find it in your heart to forgive me? Oh, Susato. You know you'll always be your gallant, dashing lawyer in my eyes now. All right.
I just popped up. Shit.
I was so scared, you know, when it happened. I didn't know what was going on. The Englishwoman was sitting at the back of the hut. Listen to what I was saying. I know it was you who stole the poison. Well now, whatever do you mean? And then, a moment later, she suddenly got up on her feet. Before collapsing on the floor in front of me, with a knife on her back. It all happened right before my eyes. And you were the only people in the hut at the time. That's right. Just Miss Brett and myself. There's no one else. So I just don't understand how she could possibly have been stabbed like that.
Great mystery indeed.
I still can't believe it happened. That's why I couldn't bring myself to speak up. It'll be alright. However it happened, and whatever really went on by that sea that day, I promise you that I'm gonna prove everything you said you saw is true.
Spoken like a true Mikatova. Now, I think we should discuss what's coming up in the trial, don't you? We don't have much time. We must make sure we have our facts in order.
Yes, expect the poison is gonna come under close scrutiny in the upcoming proceedings. Police should hopefully have identified it on the blade by now. The trouble is, it's a completely new laboratory synthesized blend of accolades. The police won't have any way of testing it. Oh, I see.
Yes, without the chemical reagent, it's impossible to detect the poison.
Chemical reagents?
I sent it to a colleague of mine with some earlier to deliver to police headquarters. I think perhaps you should have some as well, though, just in case.
Fine. Some poison.
Huh? A poison? Poison? Cusco's poison. What's the matter, Sada? You're suddenly very quiet.
It's this newspaper article. Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. I'm wondering how this information got out, given it was a government secret. It was all the Englishwoman's doing. What? It was when the professor and Seki-san were being interviewed at the laboratory. That so-called English lady sworn in without a compulsion said to Professor Mikatoba. Oh, Professor! Sure, your guests would love to hear you walk on that substance there. Motherfucker.
I always hated her. It put me in a very awkward position, to be frank. But Saseki-san's custody had me peaked, so well, I had little choice but to give him a curiosity introduction.
So then, Saseki knew about the poison.
Yes, and highly likely, the reporter was willing to write a story about us would have us a glimpse of toxin too.
Yes. Memento-san. By the way, did the reporter join you all when you went to the beach? Oh, no, I don't remember the reporter being there.
Indeed, he shouldn't have been. I very doubt anybody would want to have him there.
Oh?
A known criminal has been given permission by the authorities to bathe by the seaside. Saseki-san pointed out the inviting reporter might be problematic, so the man was sent back to the office.
Yet he obviously didn't go back. He secretly followed the party to the beach and took this very candid photograph. And then, presumably, he posted anonymously to the police. Ah!
Yes, that must be what happened.
Counsel, we've just heard that the new witness is now ready to testify. The trial is about to resume. Please proceed to the courtroom at once.
It's time to seal yourselves once again. Defense attorney, Ryotaro Naruhodo.
Yes! Yes!
Yeah!
Ray has put her faith in me now. So I can't let her down. I have to prove what she's telling the court is true. I have to prove what really happened that day.
Oh shit, Jay's not here.
Yeah. I can do pain if you want for that.
I can do pain.
Okay.
Pain was fun.
I hereby call this court in order. We've reconvened to continue the trial of Remember Me. Prosecutor Gucci, you have been summoned a new witness.
Before I address that question, Your Excellency, I have some very important news to share.
Oh?
What news? And why does he look so happy about it?
During the recess, with the collaboration of Professor Mikotoba's laboratory at Yumi University, the police re-examined the matter that we
Excellent.
I was very quiet.
Excellent. I admire your rapid handling of the matter.
Oh, too kind, Your Excellency. Too kind. I was merely carrying out your instructions, of course.
Chat, okay, so what's going on Twitch-wise? Like, is there anything actually happening on your guys' end, or anything I need to adjust? Because on my end, like, it's been showing pure green the whole time, so, I just want to make sure.
Rox has brought up Gucci's animation, so it's playing through on his end.
It's like, I'm not getting any disconnect issues. I think just Twitch might be, like, forcing people into a locked resolution or something like that. That's always really weird, because that's, like, a partner thing. It comes and goes, so I don't know how to fix that, so...
Also, audio sounds.
Sorry, what was that, Ty? Give it a little
I was just gonna say, let us know how audio sounds as well.
Yeah, if I need to adjust anything audio-wise, let me know that as well.
Alright.
I had a rigging delivered to the police headquarters by rickshaw, so it would have been there in good time.
But judging by this man's swagger, I fear we may need to brace ourselves for the inevitable.
Counsel, what were the results?
Instead, which was so cruelly used to end the life of the victim, there's no trace of poison anywhere along the building.
What? Are you sure about that?
I would stake the reputation of the police on it.
Yeah, Rox's swagger is like honestly, it's a pretty old word. It's not really that new at all, honestly. Although the test is extremely simple. They couldn't have made a mistake.
I'd say we bastardized the term at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just more one of those by our definition, like it's a completely different word now, kind of deal.
In short, the accused's feeble excuse earlier has been utterly destroyed.
God damn it!
God freaking get it!
Now, the prosecution is ready to call its new witness.
The newspaper reporter who managed to capture the photograph at the crucial moment. Good. Very well. Officer, bring in this witness.
No trace of poison on the knife. But if that's really the case... how could the toxin have entered the victim's body?
Just poured in the knife first, and then the poison afterwards.
Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court. Coco's spinning her. Written mini memo of the show you news. That's what people like to call it Jono.
What's a Jono, Father? Do you know?
It's simply a contraction of journalist.
I'm there when the news breaks, putting pen to paper to catch the scoops so these prints in the next morning. They don't call me the hero of the Herald for nothing. The nice guy of news. Oh, fuck.
Oh, boy.
Oh, so it was you who took this photograph, was it?
Well. What have we here?
I'm sorry.
Oh, brace yourselves, people. Many Mouse senses a scoop in the offing. Female suited up to foul play defended defended by a curiously handsome young lawyer in Supreme Court.
Everyone is just attracted to Susanoo throughout this whole trial.
The readers will love this stuff. We'll set it up. Holy shit, this is so hard to read so fast. We'll follow the same 2 points in a 5-like formal for the morning edition. Right then. Let's start with your name.
Oh, it's Ryutaro Naruhodo.
Next, what made you want to become a lawyer?
Well, I wanted to reform our country's legal system, I suppose.
Ryutaro has suddenly become very ambitious, I see.
I just borrowed Cosmo's dream for a while.
By the way, my name is Takatsuchi Gucci. That's Takatsuchi Gucci.
Even when it's spelled out like that, we still have to pronounce it wrong.
The so-called dark horse of the Supreme Court. My objection strikes fear into every defense lawyer's heart. Blah, 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 blah. No, the readers won't buy that.
Witness!
Yes?
What this court demands to know is whether or not you were responsible for taking this picture. It was delivered anonymously to the Imperial Police Bureau only yesterday.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a journo if I didn't click quick. Holy shit. I wouldn't be a journo if I didn't click quick when I presented it with a scoop like that now, would I? Sometimes stories call out to me. Sometimes I chase them down. But either way, you've got to be fast. Fast legs to run with, and fast hands to write with. It's no good if you don't note it down, I always say. That's what I call my many-memoism.
The many-monism?
Ah, yes, I remember your face. We met the day you were interviewing myself and Soseki-san.
Yes, that's right. That was me, Manny Memo again.
But you were supposed to be back in the Shoyo News offices after our meeting.
But the scoop is, I didn't. Because the Englishwoman's words had piqued my journalistic interests.
Miss Brett's words?
A criminal, left to do as she pleases, just because she happens to be a British citizen. It's horse stuff! This country's judiciary is rotten to the core.
I don't blame you.
My pen! Ow!
Ow! I'm bleeding!
Oh, God. The Supreme Court's rulings aren't worth the paper they're written on. The police are just imperial pawn. Get your tongue, young man. There are complex political issues at play. Well, anyway, I quickly jotted down those words she said in my memo pad. Are you ready? I'll read it out. It's all right here. Right here goes. I should like to go with everyone to see your country's coast. A serious criminal going on such junket. These people need to know about this. That's why I decided to sneak after them. To get this woman's story, so I could hammer her in the press.
Do you mean to say that you indeed witnessed it firsthand? The grim scene portrayed in this photograph?
Oh, yes! I saw it with my very own journal eyes. From start to finish. Through this viewfinder of my trusty camera.
Thank you, Memuo-san. You will now give a formal testimony before the court. You will state exactly what it is you witnessed at the events surrounding Miss Brett's death. Alright. Hi, Coco. Hi here.
Coco's really enjoying my performance. The beach hut was made of... I Hi, Coco. The beach hut was made of gaudy old fruit screens, so there were plenty of gaps I could see inside. The Englishwoman was sat on a stool when the student girl came in. When the student girl came in and started arguing with her. Seconds later, the girl pulled out a knife, throwing the Englishwoman to the floor as she stabbed her in the back. My smoldering journal spirit burst the flames. Quick as a flash, I whipped out my camera, ready to click. I pulled apart the rough weave from one of the screens and poked the lens here for the perfect shot.
I'm just gonna let him stretch out like this for a second. Just gonna see.
Stop. This is fine.
There's gonna be some serious clapback on that.
3 screens, you say?
You could see them. You could see them clearly enough in this great shot I snapped. The hut walls were just screens made of coherently woven reeds.
Yes, it allows a breeze to pass through and bring some relief from the summer heat.
And it was a breeze for me to poke my camera through and see the whole thing hotting.
Knowing for the time being the appalling invasion of privacy involved, did you witness everything that happened from the moment the defendant entered the hut?
Oh yes, I saw it. I saw the whole thing from start to finish.
And you say you took the photograph through the gape in one of the screens?
Luckily for me, they were pretty shoddily woven. I pulled the reeds apart and thrust the lens of my camera through the gap. Would I give it away? Would I get away with it? Or would I be seen? It was a gamble of a lifetime! A tenacity of purpose that considered admirable in a journalist. When we risk one game, we scoop the next. That's many memoism in addition.
And not get legally arrested for invasion of privacy.
I may or may not be a closet pervert.
At last! It would appear we have reached a genuine witness of this wicked crime. The evidence and testimony are extremely compelling. I believe we may be close to a verdict.
No! I mean, no.
No!
Wonderful news, Your Excellency. Wonderful.
Nevertheless, it cannot be denied that this testimony begs one very large question.
What question?
Elusive news, a startling photograph, all the makings of an exceptional story for the reporter. Why then was the story never published? I just noticed I kind of like the stink guy coming from Susanoo over there. What the fuck? It's just like she got like the whiff of a fart kind of deal. It's like what the fuck?
Oh.
What was that? Oh god.
Oh, that's right. Sorry?
So anyway, I started flexing. It seems clear to me that there are circumstances at play here that have not yet been understood.
More pathetic excuses.
Very well then, counsel. Proceed with your cross-examination.
Yes, Your Excellency. There's more to this reporter than meets the eye. He's keeping something about this case very close to his chest.
It said those straps up on emotion.
Yeah, those straps are quite ouch.
I don't leave it work.
You see, his breakdown is just gonna be his, his shirt coming off and just his chest is bright red from them snapping back.
Just for the overall straps are.
Just the shiny screen to the plate as it's see-through.
Should probably familiarize ourselves with the evidence we had from yesterday.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah? Okay.
Single stab wound. The heart.
Hmm?
I don't see any hole over here, so... And I do remember this, because I already see he has the same symbol on him for that. Let's see. Oh! Can I... Okay.
The label appears to be written in a foreign language that I don't know.
It's German, so your knowledge of English is going to be little help here, I'm afraid.
If you've just written medicine on it in Japanese, they'll be able to read it.
German is an international language of medicine, my dear. But yes, I can certainly see merit in labeling the bottle in Japanese. Though I'm
Did
not...
you know that French is the language of love?
Though I'm not sure medicine would be entirely appropriate. Anything else? Nope, that's it. Okay.
Is indeed a bottle.
Yes, this must be the victim's blood.
Oh dear, blood is never a pretty sight, is it? And when the fight to urge to run from the hot tub and get it clean.
You've always been so fastidious about cleaning, haven't you?
I think this is something else, Father.
What? Nothing else? Nope. Okay, so let's... Knife, camera ready.
Hold it! Hold the fuck on. But the two women inside didn't notice?
Obviously not. If they had, where would I be right now? In jail? That's where.
Which is what you think makes you reflect on what you were doing.
No, a journalist's job is to collect a snippet of life as unobtrusively as possible. Leaving nothing but footprints, taking nothing but photos. Yes, that's spot on.
Did he just make that up?
The point is, the witness risked his life and limb to obtain that photograph. And this photograph, every time it ever makes
every time it makes me laugh!
And this photograph reveals the whole truth. There is nothing more to be said.
Oh.
Claims to have spied on the whole affair from start to finish. True, his testimony is devastating.
Journalism, I swear!
It does seem he's holding something back, doesn't it?
If that's how you feel, I suggest you throw us instincts and press him on everything he said. As you know, Dante, before, Dante just okay, yeah. So.
I am gonna press this motherfucker.
Okay, so
hard.
one of those just press everything kind of deal. All right.
Get some hidden info, I guess.
Yeah.
What makes you want to see what happened inside the beach hut in the first place?
Call it journo instinct. Can you think of a better reason?
Bruh.
Maybe that you're just
Journo
being a pervert or something.
Journo instinct.
Oh, I don't know. Perhaps because as well being proven criminal, the person inside is a young woman.
Ah, I see where you're going with this. Brace yourselves, people. He's painting the journal as void.
Entirely slander, sir. You had a camera and you were taking pictures without a woman's knowledge.
Infinite ammo. Nope, you got it all wrong, little student boy.
Sorry.
To my mind, all that was inside the hut was a scoop. Nothing more, nothing less. Scoops know no gender, man or woman. It's all news. It's not even many-memoism. It's just basic journalism.
If only the courtroom was that indiscriminate.
Right. So if that's all buttoned up, can we move on?
You just kind of breezed past the question on that one, honestly. You kind of... Yeah.
So you actually saw
My best friend.
entering the hut.
Yep. And she was raging like my journo spirit.
And the argument you mentioned, what was it about exactly?
You stole it. I didn't steal it. That kind of thing.
Talking about the poison, I suppose.
The student girl walked right up to the English woman and really started laying it into her. I mean, if she laid it into her anymore, it would have been a...
The man should have been an author. His description talents are wasted on journalism.
But the student rantings fell on deaf ears, like a Japanese person listening to English for the first time.
He really ought to work on his smiles first, though, to be honest.
Anyway, the point is, the woman in the dark was mightily angry. The detective finally got the better of her team. Dear me. It was the climactic moment that I call on. I don't know what that is. Just all...
He's very expressive. He's very expressive.
Damn. Do you swear before this coat that you actually saw the precise moment when the stabbing took place?
The precise moment? I didn't just see that. I saw the whole hellish scene from start to finish. You have here a simple plan of the details. Perhaps you could use it to explain to the court exactly what you did.
Oh, Tyler, could you get a little closer to your mic if you can? You were a little muffled on that one.
Oh, sorry. I don't know if it's on my headphones or my phone. Right, you on. It's all here in my memo pad.
Memo.
When I first peered into the hut, I'm sure that the Englishwoman was on this stool at the back of the hut here. Yeah, the accused's own testimony confirmed that.
You sat on the back of the hut, smiling sweetly, which was I have noted down.
It's my turn to testify now. Try not to interrupt. Then, the next moment, as I was watching, the evil student girl entered the hut. After a while, the pair of them ended up in the middle of the hut, arguing ferociously. The Englishwoman went for the student, but the girl dodged out of the way. Boom shakalaka, and in the splash, plunged the knife into her back.
From downtown! What you described is a grim crime indeed.
Never sugarcoat truth. Ow! And that's what many would say.
I just want that to just hit like get him a little too hard. Just like, ah!
Ow.
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 By the way, Memento-san, while you were watching this terrible scene unfold before your eyes through the gap on the screen, did not occur to you to try to prevent the tragedy rather than capturing it on film?
Juniors have to be observers. We can't get involved. That's our race and deterre.
Bruh.
Bruh.
So you didn't converse with Miss Brett at all?
Obviously not. Never always remains on that looking room.
That's just gonna be his character pick every time he does it, just a little ow.
That's something to be proud of, is it?
Your Excellency, if I may. Yes, Professor? I think the witness's last expertly phrased statement should perhaps be added to his formal testimony.
Father, what are you...
I will grant the defense's request. Memimo-san, you will supplement your formal testimony with the aforementioned statement.
Well,
Nihilism.
Nihilism is the foundation of many memoism, but I'll gladly prove that my words aren't meaningless.
Ow! That's some bullshit. And
Coming is the fault of many memoism.
I
I never
freaking
would
know why you
nor the fault of the English woman.
you piece of shit.
Memo-san, until now, I had a firm belief that newspapers are in the business of uncovering and publishing the truth.
You're spot on, man. The press doesn't lie, which is why I'm proud to wear this emblem of the Shoyu News in my arm. In a way, that's more many memoism.
Sadly, though, it seems the journalist who writes those papers don't always share the same passion for the truth.
What are you suggesting with that recriminatory words, Counsel?
Memo-san, do you recognize this fountain pen? This pen was found at the scene of Miss Brett's death. In fact, the murder victim was gripping it in her hands as she died.
What are you?
If you looked at the barrel of the pen, you noticed that its owner's initials are engraved there. RM.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up, Counsel. The initials of the accused. Remember me.
Is it a coincidence, I wonder? That your initials are also RM.
No!
Write a memo. RM.
Forward heavy slash, objection!
That's whoredom! Can't you see? One of the central tenets of many memoism is a pencil.
Yet, as the court were clearly able to see, your right hand.
You didn't wash your hands at all, you sick fuck.
There's obviously blue ink stain, you dumb motherfucker.
Yo, fucker, it would appear that you have rather carelessly left it somewhere recently. A favorable fountain pen, that is.
Once the work's done.
The memo-san, is it not the case that before she died, you met with Giselle Brad at the beach hut?
Objection! Why should we listen to this absurd nonsense? It's nothing but another excuse. Exactly. Shoyu News will stand behind me all the way. I deny everything. There must be as many people with initials RM as there are stars in the night sky.
The defense was neither the time nor the inclination to count every star in the sky.
Huh?
And there is no need anyway, because this pen has more to tell. Yes, there is another clue. Look at this post.
Look at the power.
Another proof of who its owner really is.
In that case, counsel, the defense will now show the court where the alleged clue is.
Of course, Your Excellency.
Yeah.
Clue in this fountain pen that clearly reveals the owner's identity. Aye.
Oh, that's good. I like that. Got it.
As well as the initials, there's an emblem in this fountain pen. An emblem that you of course recognize, Memo-san.
Emblem who?
just takes the pen marker and just starts wiping out the thing on his shoulder. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, it's Mickey Mouse.
Goodness me! It's the emblem! Has to show you news!
We found a fire emblem! In other words, the owner of this pen, my brother, is an employee of Shoujo News, whose initials are RM.
No, it's just the sword pen from the Percy Jackson series. That's what it is.
Oh my god! Sadly, the stars in the night sky don't seem numerous, do they? Well, Memo-san, how do you respond?
No!
Well, Ace, Ace, that's something on Twitch's end. I can't do anything on my end. I have the bitrate, like, that's not something I can adjust on my end, unfortunately, Ace, on that.
Oh, dang.
That's up to Twitch, not me, on that, so... Order! Order! Explain yourself, witness!
So, this is how the mighty Supreme Court works, is it? Using using coercive tactics to have a well-meaning citizens reveal harmless secrets.
Use nothing but honest tactics.
Alright then, fine. I won't try to hide anything anymore.
Doubt.
Yes. Not long before the grim tragedy unfolded. I, a Show You News reporter on behalf of the public, conducted an interview with the Englishwoman.
An interview?
You never mentioned this before.
She can go to the beach, she can buy stuff, she can get medicine, she can get interviews. What fucking part of criminal are we, like?
What fucking part of murder?
What exactly was this?
As I said, it was before the evil little student girl showed her face in the hut. It couldn't have lasted more than 2 to 3 minutes, that's all. It was just a brief exchange. But it came down to nothing. And as we many memoists say, the people don't pay their dues for unworthy news.
However insignificant you deem it, this court cannot overlook the meeting between yourself and the victim. You will testify now under oath about the premise nature of this meeting and what transpired.
Got it. Alright, yes. But on one condition. Condition! In all good consensus, I cannot speak alone. I couldn't speak out alone about this. You need to call back the earlier witness, Sasaki Natsume.
Sasaki-san?
Oh yes. According to my notes here, that man has a secret of his own. Brace yourselves. Oh, it's not a harmless one. It's big.
Again, man, his chest is gonna be so red by the end of this trial.
What?
It's kind of big. Many memoism states that one man's secret is every other man's front page story. Wow. He's Time Magazine.
Very well, I will grant the witness's request in this instance. Officer, summon the earlier witness back to the stand.
Sasaki-san, hiding something? Oh god.
Oh god, indeed.
Oh boy.
Oh, just straight up. I asked the Englishwoman for an interview, but she declined. So I left the hut without making a fuss. Then, watching secretly from the outside, I saw the woman being stabbed and the other witness coming.
Why am I up here again? Okay.
The detective realized that the victim still had a pulse, so he ran off to fetch help. That's when this writer man here asked the woman a very significant question. But he didn't say anything about that in his testimony, which is why many memoirs demand I reveal it now.
Okay, I don't know why we needed him up there.
Metamonism, I do what I want.
You mean to say the victim?
The victim regained consciousness?
And
when she did, you decided to ask her a question?
That's, true, yes.
He did, and that's not all. The woman gave her a very definite answer. An answer that incriminates the accused.
Oh, he's got very shaky legs down there. I've seen them go.
Why are you hearing about this now? Why didn't you mention this before? You yokel.
It wasn't even a conversation! Yes, I did pose the Wuthering English Rose a question. I don't deny it. But she could no longer speak. She was barely conscious even. Counsel for the defense, I expect a thorough cross-examination to be conducted here. This court must and will know the truth.
Absolutely, Your Excellency. The reporter is claiming that Miss Brett implicated Ray somehow. What on earth could have happened in that hut?
Many things. The great mysteries of life.
Okay, Saseki-san, what you got?
More. We gotta go through Many Mo. Particularly on the side yeah, this one seems suspicious.
So Seki-san remained behind in the hut?
That's right. Yep. Our ether friend here was a blabbering wreck, shaking all over from his head to his toes, mustache twitching, eyes bulging.
What do you expect? You don't know the terrifying troubles that taunt me when Will is traveling abroad. Back behind bail bars! They're coming for me, surely! That's all I could think of. I felt as if I were grasping for air, drowning in the sea of cold sweat.
Poor Saseki-san. His experience in London has scarred him deeply.
I didn't even have windows!
Fucking windows!
They pay you to have windows over there. It's complete bullshit! As the world seemed to be closed around me, I quietly recited a prayer to Amida Buddha. Eternal emptiness, empty eternity! The end is coming for me, surely! No such are found in my court, please.
And now, we come to the crucial part. That's when it happened.
I forgot about the stream. Oh. You know what? Fair. What question? What exactly did he say?
Well now, you should hear it from the horse's mouth, I think. Don't you, Mr. Writer-Man?
Saseki, please.
Second sound. You yokel. What did you say to... What did you say to her? What did you say to the dying English woman?
Well, in truth, I've been catching crabs at the water's edge and building castles in the sand, you see. Well, the seaside is a place to be at leisure, I suppose, even for a grown man. But then all of a sudden, from the little beach hut, a young girl's panic-stricken cries for help will pierce the air.
Hey.
I ran up the beach to see what was happening to find the defendant leaning over the collapsed victim. As soon as Inspector Hasanaga saw Miss Brett on the ground, he sprinted off to get help. But then, just a moment later, I heard a faint moan, a moan from the dead English woman. I nearly jumped out of my skin!
What did you ask her, Saseki-san?
I know what I just typed in chat, but at the same time, when I queued into the stream, I just caught the one with the judge shaking his head. Judge of this man, I wanted to build a sandcastle at the beach. Come on, man. You gonna judge that asses acting over here, or just have a good time? No way! Let the man build a sandcastle.
I just wanted to build my sandcastles and then suddenly murder.
I want to build a sandcastle and take a shit in it.
I'm like, oh, Saseki, no, please. Oh. Oh.
I asked her.
Anyway.
I asked her, who did this to you? Don't protract this any longer. How did the woman respond? She didn't! She said nothing in response! When in the stand, you will answer the questions asked of you unambiguously. Now, without evasion or resistance, I demand that you amend your testimony. I will!
Oh, boy.
I asked her, did this to you, but she never replied.
Hold it!
Sir. So you tried to find out who the culprit is?
He asked a question is a fool a minute. He would not remain a fool forever. Van Zeeks would be a beach sandcastle kicker. Yes, he would.
Oh.
No, but you know, no, he would destroy it by throwing the fucking wine bottle into your goddamn sandcastle.
He fucking rests his foot on it, that's why.
Oh yeah, no, he does to get an up tilt onto it. Yeah, that's what he does.
Motherfucker.
And having been labeled a criminal twice during my time in Great Britain, I was quick to make up my mind. Better be a fool for a minute than remain a fool in prison forever!
Jay, did you want pain back, or...?
He left.
Yeah, Jason. I think Jason was just poking his head in, so...
Okay. However, you indicated that the victim failed to respond. Is that correct?
I know why. I know the English woman said nothing. Yeah, wait a minute. He said twice. What was the
Don't worry about it.
Hold on. She was ignoring me because of my stupid mustache because I'm Japanese!
Oh dear, Sasaki-san has really developed a dislike for the English, it seems.
Oh no, he's become a racist. Oh no.
Everyone's
Susana's just like to her phone, do you see this shit?
Father, these edibles ain't shit.
Having read up on the report in Great Britain, I can't say I'm surprised of this xenophobia.
But the Englishwoman didn't ignore you at all. Did she, Mr. Writerman?
Well, yes, alright. She did respond in a manner of speaking, I suppose. Just a trembling figure pointed in the direction of the defendant. Whoa, hold up!
Wait a minute. Miss Fred pointed a finger at the defendant? Sasaki-san, is that really true?
It's not easy to stand here and say this, but when we first entered the beach hut, the Englishwoman was sprawled on the floor before us with the student girl standing to the far side of her. And when I asked who did this to you, the Englishwoman summoned her last ounce of strength and pointed the trembling finger at the back of the hut. Which was, and it can't be denied, the direction of the student girl who stands accused here today, or our fucking reporter.
No.
Sasaki-san, why on earth did you neglect to mention this information in your original testimony? Fiddlesticks, I say! This is not a British court of law. You will respond in Japanese. Yes, of course, the Englishwoman did point her finger towards the back of the hut, but I was trembling, and she was trembling, and everything was a blur! And thinking about it, I feel as though perhaps I was pointing in a slightly different direction. Actually, no, not slightly, in a very different direction from where the student girl was standing! To somewhere in the back of the hut where nobody was standing at all!
You mean to say your memory of the events and the direction in which the fiction was pointing are both unclear?
Yes, that's it! Unclear! I'm very, very unclear!
Objection! Your Excellency, surely this proves the matter beyond all reasonable doubt. Yes, the woman may barely have been conscious, and yes, perhaps her finger wavered slightly. But there can be no doubt that there was an attempt by the victim to confirm the identity of her assailant. Why? Because as the court sees, there was no other than the accused in the direction the victim was pointing. It is now abundantly clear that no one besides the accused could possibly have committed this crime.
I am inclined to agree. In the absence of credible argument to the contrary, I believe we can now conclude this trial.
Fuck!
The headline's repeating itself. Dashing lawyers, hoax dash. 92 point across the whole page. We'll do an extra edition.
It's a serious blow, Susato. Unless we're able to identify the true culprit and substantiate our claim with evidence, the judge will give his ruling and the trial will be over.
It's impossible, Father! We don't even know how the crime was committed yet!
Impossible though the task may seem, we have no choice. We must think back over everything we learned thus far. Somewhere in those details, I'm confident we'll find our clue we need.
Ray gave us her account of how the events unfolded in the defendant's amphitheater before the trial resumed. She told us what happened at the precise moment Miss Brett was killed. Nicholas was sitting on the back of the hut. Yeah, she screamed and then she's like,
yeah, she fell.
She's dead.
Oh my god, she's dead!
How could Miss Brett have been stabbed in the back at the beach hut that was empty but for herself and Ray? Somewhere amidst all the information we gather so far, there must be an answer to that question.
I take it then that the defense has nothing further to add.
So, the gallant Yoki student lurks finally run out. I can't say I'm surprised.
In that case, I am ready to deliver my final verdict on the matter.
This is the crucial turning point now. If I can't establish what really happened, it's over. Where was the real culprit hiding? And how did he or she stab the victim?
I know!
Objection!
Hold the phone there!
Saseki was
Bam.
not fazed by that at all.
Your Excellency, I respectfully ask you to perform your
Adjudication.
adjudication for the time being. I do have those pronounced by tongue twister anyway.
Oh, to what end, counsel?
The defense would like to present the court with an alternate theory. An alternate theory that can explain who the victim was actually trying to implicate with her dying gesture.
Objection! An alternate theory? None exists.
Objection!
Hold there. There was someone else present at the scene who could have committed this crime.
What?
And the victim, Miss Brett, tried to reveal who it was those around her at the time. By mustering all her remaining strength and pointing the trembling finger to the killer's direction.
This is fiction! Fantasy!
Very well. As you seem sure yourself, counsel, I'm prepared to hear your alternate theory. So, young Riano... sorry, it's been Ritaro and I still can't pronounce his name. Ritaro Naruhodo.
Yes, Your Excellency.
You will present your latest theory to the court by means of this plan. At the moment of the victim's it would be right over here.
Take that!
The true culprit was in this area here.
There, counsel.
That's right, Your Excellency. I believe this culture was hiding in the location I indicated.
Why?
Well, that's rather hard to say.
Fine, damn it. Clearly, this particular theory needs some further proof, given your wide-eyed look of alarm.
I chose a person. You were on the right track.
Okay.
You
Was
were on
I
the track.
was just
You
off by a
absolutely
pixel or so. Okay.
Yeah. Colder.
Here?
Well, think.
Warmer. Warmer? No, colder.
Colder.
Hold on. Okay.
Think where his location would be.
Think of where Brett was.
Be outside, like over here?
Colder, warmer.
Where was she pointing?
Well, the...
Wait, where exactly was she? Or wasn't the culprit was sealed? She was pointing that direction.
And where would the culprit be if she was pointing?
The culprit? Okay, the victim, she'd be pointing this way. So... I'm just trying to think if he took the picture from out here.
Don't think about the picture, think about the moment that Brett was stabbed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where was she?
She
Where
would
was
be
she when
right
she was
here. Then...
She was sitting somewhere.
She
Oh!
was sitting.
So here, so she would have to be...
Because she got up after she was stabbed.
Yeah, so have to be like right here then, right? At that point?
Mm-hmm.
Take that!
Okay, there we go, yeah!
Naruhodo-san would never give up. And I'm a Naruhodo now. Wait, what does that mean?
Wait, what?
Wait. I have
True
so
Color
many...
badly stabbed Miss Brett was concealed in this location here. I'm sorry, I had to move my finger just over here.
Are you mad, Counsel? You're suggesting the culprit was outside the hut?
That's what
What? That's where you pointed the first time.
Order! But student lawyer Naruhodo, son and squire, that makes no sense at all!
You've just pointed out the exact spot where I was hiding to get my scoop snap. But I didn't see any suspicious individuals wandering around. I could swear to that. Obviously, if the culprit had been outside the hut, there is no way he or she could have stabbed the victim who was inside the hut.
Yeah, I got that.
actually, Professor Gucci, there is a way.
Gucci?
Gucci?
And in point of fact, the defense could provide evidence strong suggesting the precisely the way Miss Brett was killed.
You're bluffing! You're bluffing! You yuppie!
The defense's assertion is clearly too fantastical for the court to comprehend. You will need to give us more guidance, counsel. What piece of evidence collaborates with your theory that the victim was stabbed outside the hut?
Take that! Well, I presented it now. I have the first
Damn it,
ideology.
fuck.
You had the right idea.
I was making the show like how it bended, and it was like, yeah.
You had the right
it's all-
idea, but just take another look.
You can see through it, but not really.
Yeah, you had the right idea with this one, but it's not this one.
It's not that evidence.
It's not that one either.
Oh, that one? Because I see the little crack in there.
Yep.
Alright. The original photographic print of a crime scene?
Clearly visible in this print. The trace of the fatal thrust that was delivered from the outside the beach hut.
Objection! Do you take us for fool? There's no hope with any such thing.
I'm not sure that everyone present would agree. Someone, at least, appeared to have noticed what it was that I'm referring to.
Counsel, once again, I call for you to be explicit to the court. Is right up here.
Son of a bitch!
Look closely just here. In the screen at the back of the hut, you can see the effects of the blade having been forced through the reef.
No! I can't see anything!
It's true that the hut in question has 4 walls than you expect, however... By parting the reefs, a knife blade could easily penetrate them.
This is extraordinary!
Yes. The true culprit actually stabbed the victim from outside the beach hut.
And of everyone present at the scene, there's only one person who could have done that. Only one person who was directly outside the hut when Miss Brett was killed. Written memo, son. It could only have been you.
Objection! First idea needs
Tyler, you went dark again.
Oh,
Damn, you were extremely, you were bitchy over there.
Objection! No, of course not.
We're not!
Call the testimony of the defense about the evidence before the victim's death.
Inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Brett. But she just sat on the stool in the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me as if she knew she was untouchable.
A stool!
Have another look at the photograph. Split on the reef screen. I'm perfectly with the back of the person who was sitting on that stool.
My word! So, in fact, the victim was...
Hill was sitting on that stool, but the stab wound through her back delivered through the reef screen. I've been attacked. Miss Brett rose to her feet instinctively. But then, unable to speak, she collapsed on the floor in the middle of the hut. Before the defendant, Mibami-san, appalls eyes. And that, Your Excellency, is the truth of what happened on the beach that day. Fine. Memo-san. I take it you don't deny the charge.
He's only resorted to memes now.
This is... I'm sick.
That will do! It would appear that we have attacked admission of guilt from the witness. Accordingly, this court has successfully established the truth of this murder, which means that the defendant, Mamembi-san, is innocent of this crime.
Thank goodness. I finally made him cave.
I must say, I've never been more proud.
No, this can't be. The Gucci clan can't. What are my growth? My growth of hope. It wasn't all the aspiration. I can't accept this. I won't.
I see no reason for the continuance of this trial. I will therefore move to conclude my proceedings by
Hold it.
Alright, here we go.
Well, this is all very convenient. This is how the highest court in our mighty empire delivers justice? Suppressing well-meaning citizens' freedom to speak and branding them as criminals.
But
We established that the victim was stabbed from the outside the hut, through the rescreen walls.
And no one but you was in the place of that to have his hand on the hilt of the blade. It's perfectly logical deduction.
So, your argument hinges on the location of whoever stabbed the Englishwoman, does it? Well, it seems a little irrelevant now.
Sorry.
Irrelevant? Dad, please.
Where she was stabbed, how she was stabbed. It doesn't matter. I mean, whether she was stabbed at all makes no difference if you really think about it. After all, The trial's only shown the whole thing hinges on something else.
What
What are you talking about?
Soseki was just looking back at us, just like, you see this? You see this shit?
Yeah.
Breakfast time, little man. I'm talking about the fact that everything's changed. Because of the dirt you dug up.
What?
Enough obscurity! Explain yourself, witness!
What's to explain? I'm talking about the poison, of course. The poison? Let's ask the professor for a comment on the situation, shall we? I understand that a deadly poison you were developing was stolen from your laboratory, correct? And it's been shown that the poison was administered to the victim, Miss Brett, is that right?
That is correct. The unusual constriction of the victim's pupils are a sure sign that this particular poison was used.
I see. So, presumably that means that the victim already had the poison in her body before she was stabbed.
Given that her pupils were clearly constricted, it's highly likely, yes. If she had been dead already, the poison could not have circulated into her blood. So refreshing to hear the argument of the metropolitan relative mind. Precisely. It matters not a jot who stabbed whom and whose back, and with whom's blade. That was a really weird line. Yeah.
Because quite simply, the Englishwoman's life was taken not by the knife, but by the poison, by arguments committed.
Motherfucker. But that can't be explained by the poison being on the blade, as I already...
Objection! Forgotten already, have we, Yoku? During these very proceedings, the library of the professor at your side assisted in
The library?
the laboratory, fuck off! The poison that had been used to attack the victim had no trace of poison on it whatsoever. So let me get this down in facts as skillfully established by the defense in this trial. It turns out the headlining making red herring. Is that about right?
Well, you... Ow, my back.
Order!
Stop the mowing!
Where does that leave us? How is that case did the poison never enter the victim's body? There's an undeniably obvious answer to that. The lady was most likely embedded with it.
You mean she drank it?
Have another look at the photograph here. As we can see, a bottle of carbonated water and a glass had been knocked into the sandy floor of the beach hut. The poison could have been slipped into either.
Somebody made Miss Brett drink it.
Well, what do you know? Look at those dashing eyes. That will make a great front page shot. Hey, why the bewitching stare? After all, I'm the last person you should be looking at. It would make no sense at all why that I poisoned the women, would it? I mean, it's been established already.
Hold on. Established? What are you talking about?
Don't tell me you've forgotten. That's a little hard to believe. It's a little hard to believe, given the person who established it. What's new?
What on earth does he mean?
The capture those wine eyes. This is twice better than this.
It would seem that this trial is not destined to end yet after all. I hereby call upon the witness to give further testimony.
That's great, this is. Let me get a shot of that magnificent ear, Your Excellency.
I mean, yes, it is very quite impressive. You claim for it to be impossible that you were the one responsible for administering the poison to the victim. Will you explain to the court your testimony, the basis upon which you make such claim?
I'm a journo and a man. I'm a journo and I'm a man. I never tried to run or hide from anything in my life.
Now,
And I'm not about to start now, because that's many.
for a brief moment, till I illuminate the truth, then slip right back into obscurity again. Just where is this trial going to take us?
I'm gonna take a quick drink of water.
No problem.
Hopefully with no poison or nothing.
Yeah, hopefully. Oh god! Oh no!
Oh yes, I stabbed the English woman, and that's the very fact that proves I'm innocent. Because why would I bother to stab a woman if I already poisoned her? When I heard the student girl and that pompous English murderer arguing, it got my goat. If the courts weren't going to punish Brett for what she did, someone else would have to see justice done.
So, you admit it then. That everything happened as I described. And you're the one who stabbed Miss Brett in the back through the rescreen.
You could blame them. You could blame this miserable country of ours. A country that bows to the pressure of foreign powers and lets murderers walk free. What kind of future can a country like that have? That's why I did it. I did what our pathetic leaders didn't have the guts to do. Slap bags in the middle of the charming lady's back. I plunged this blade of sweet justice right there. As someone who spends his life seeing that the truth is told, I feel really, really awful about giving false information in my testimony before. But as it turns out, there was somebody else who had it in for the victim and got to her before me. That's right, you guessed it. Yeah, that tiny little student girl. Now there's a woman after my own heart.
You're implicating Ray again.
She's the one who gave the poison to the English woman and ended her pitiful existence. And suddenly, now, the journal here is off the hook.
The argument is sound, certainly. If the witness administered the poison himself, he only needed to wait for it to take effect. Afterwards, stabbing the victim in the back would have been entirely nonsensical.
And therefore, this reporter has nothing to do with the poisoning. Yes, it's all quite logical. That's right, it is. Logical and true. I'm glad you've all seen the light. Justice at last!
It's unbelievable! After I made so much progress in proving his guilt, he's gonna get away with it now? Fuck!
Wake the fuck up, Susanna!
Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san. They'll never stop looking for a way forward until the judge's final gavel.
Very well then, counsel. Proceed with what I assume will be your final cross-examination for this trial.
You can do it.
Yes, Your Excellency!
Kick his fucking ass! You got that!
Somewhere Ryuja has some high extensive bitches on him right now.
That proves I'm innocent. Because why would I stab the weapon if I already poisoned her? I heard the student girl and the boss were arguing and it got my coat. Courts were going I would say that one.
Hold it!
But you still maintain that you didn't give the poison to the victim.
Obviously. That'd be like putting a belt on your trousers when you've already wearing braces like that. The accused administered the poison, following which the witness stabbed the victim. An unforgivable act, certainly, but not one of murder. That crime rests on the accused's shoulders. That is how the law works, you see, Yokel. Who knows? Maybe even he learned something here today.
2 consecutive attempts on her life in the space of minutes. Quite a day for the victim.
Do something that evil, and you've got it coming. That's how the law works. The law of reckoning.
That's not the kind of law this court upholds.
You will reiterate why you were compelled to stab the victim then, witness.
Hold it!
You gotta go?
Well, what exactly were they arguing about?
And can I take it from you when you go to jail? I wanna go.
About what happened in the restaurant a year ago. That's what. The student girl was laying into the Englishwoman for killing her beloved mentor, Dr. Wilson.
Yes, John S. Wilson, professor of medicine, invited here from England by Professor Mikatoba, no less.
Right. But the Englishwoman just jeered.
Oh, we got it. Thank you. Thank you for that. We're nearing the end of case 1 here of DGS2, so yeah, hello.
Hello. Her case was to be heard by the British Consular Court in Shanghai. However, there was little doubt that she would simply have been acquitted and sent back to her homeland a free woman. It was eating the student girl up inside. You could see it. I really felt for her.
Off the fucking phone!
Don't you speak to me, motherfucker!
I can't. I can't stand here and listen to this tripe! Ray!
You stand accused here! You can't just blurt out whatever you feel like it! No, you can't. No, you can't. Sorry, but I'm in the middle of some very important testimony here. Just keep quiet and listen.
This awful man is making this all up! Susanoo, please, you have to make them listen!
Return to the dock at once, remember me, san. We are in the middle of a cross-examination.
Who's this Susanoo?
Yeah.
Your Excellency, please, I implore you! That journalist is clearly not a trustworthy witness. Exactly! He's a filthy, rotten, black-hearted, bigoted, greedy-peeping Tom!
There it is.
That's someone said it.
Please, I really think the court should hear what the defendant has to say.
Your Excellency, I see no need whatsoever to entertain the accused's remarks.
I will grant the requests of the defense.
But, Your Excellency!
This is likely to be the final cross-examination of these proceedings. As such, I believe it would be ill-advised to stifle the defendant's obvious concerns. So, with this recognition of the convert's regular protocol, I hereby call the defendant to speak.
Oh. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Alright. It's nothing to do with Dr. Wilson. We were discussing the stolen poison, okay?
Maybe press her on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. The stolen poison that killed the victim, you mean?
I suspect her being the one to steal it. I mean, just think about how she killed Dr. Wilson.
That's true. Additionally, Miss Brett certainly had knowledge of the new poison. But surely it would not be easy to steal a highly secret toxin being developed for the government. Indeed, all visitors of the laboratory are thoroughly searched when they leave. Even if a thief managed to avoid being seen by myself or my colleague, getting the poison out would be very difficult. That's true. I pestered Professor Mikatoba until he agreed to show me the poison when I visited his laboratory. But as I left, I searched from top to tail. Miss Brett rather bluntly revealed the existence of the toxin we've been developing, you see. And since Suseki-san expressed much interest in it, I felt unable to refuse. Think with me, Susanoo. Think. Obviously, I gave nothing away other than the fact it was extremely potent substance. I'm very ashamed of myself. It's just that I had such terrible experience with a deadly poison. I wanted to look at my old enemy in the eye! Surely you can understand that!
I know my suspicions were true. I confided Miss Brett about the poison. I told her that there were an incident involving somehow. It wouldn't just be the university. But the military would be dragged into it too. The whole government even. It would be a complete disaster.
And how did Miss Brett respond to your concerns?
Yes, curled with those beautiful lips in her and said she didn't know the first thing about it. In English, actually.
Ah, yes. The meno's on. One question, if you don't mind.
I do mind. Can't you see I'm busy?
Clearly, you were outside the beach hut listening in whilst the defendant and Miss Brett were conversing. Presumably, then, it was you who wrote down the article, what you heard? Exclusive! Deadly poison from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. The story was published in this morning's edition of the Shoyu News. The details are too accurate for it to be written by anyone else.
Sorry, don't know what you're talking about.
Yes. Look at this! The entire article! It's almost what I said to Miss Brett. Word for word. Well, Memo-san.
As a journo, as a citizen of a free country, I don't have to reveal my sources. That's a founding principle of many memoism.
Alder's clearly right about this. That reporter did write the article, and he based on what he overheard from outside the hut. So that's what it's all about. You were trying to cover the fact that you were listening in. That's why you came up to that stinking story about me arguing with her.
Shut up! My stories never sink! Look, whatever you say, little girl, it doesn't alter the facts. Your Excellency, there's something I want to say, and I want it to go on record.
Very well, you may amend your formal testimony. The point is, if you poison someone...
if you poison someone, there'll be no reason to go and stab the person as well.
Oh god.
Uh-oh.
Okay, we're good.
Oh, okay.
Ryutaro was slammed so hard
it crashed the stream, oh god!
Perhaps you delve out the efficiency of the poison and talk to make sure your victim would die.
That's horse dung!
What?
That would be like your Chinese ramen before you even tasted it. Completely reckless! Although, it might surprise you to learn that I'm a bit of an impetuous pepper pourer as it happened.
What?
The victim was taken...
That's a sentence and a half.
Once the victim taken the poison, she would have only been minutes away from death. And yet, this man there proceeded to stab her in the back as well. There has to have been a good reason for that.
it was the reporter who gave the poison to Miss Brett, then clearly, he must have done it prior to Ray entering the hunt.
Yes, that's undeniable.
But between him leaving the hut and the victim being stabbed, there was one very critical change to the situation.
Sorry? What change?
The reporter overheard the conversation between Ray and the English foreigner.
Yes, that's it! That's when Memo-san first found out the exact nature of the poison he used. That could be...
Yep.
Yep.
So why we stab if it's already being poisoned?
Yeah,
Yeah, so it'd be the last one.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hit that A button a bunch of times. And then hit that B button a bunch of times.
Yeah. Okay, just want to make sure. No wait, Daily poison base effect. Okay, here small mouth, a boom base and lace play. Yeah, it was like this poison couldn't be.
I think I remember the reason, but
I know, yeah.
yeah, I think I remember what the reason.
Yeah,
was.
I'm just
not,
trying to remember if it was like one of those where the poison
clear.
wasn't like noticeable.
Basically, so we need to dissect the reason. Why would he stab her if she was already poisoned?
To try and incriminate her?
But wouldn't she be incriminated even with the poison?
Right, because she was in the hut already.
Oh, because she was holding the pen? Was that it?
Well, let's think of it like this. You have to think about who knew of the existence of the poison as well.
Okay, that would be Mikatoba, Ray, her, and then the journalist would be the 4 people that knew at that point.
The question is, how much did he knew about the poison?
He only knew the stuff from their conversation on here.
From the conversation?
Yeah. Yeah, what about, no, from the interview,
Objection!
Yeah, okay.
I can think of one reason.
What?
Before I explain, I'd like you to confirm something for the court. You claimed all this information from the newspaper article from what you overheard outside the hut?
Of course he did! There's no question of that! After all, when we were inside the laboratory together, all he did was all we were told about it was a terrible toxin!
There's one more important fact to consider. According to the witness, Momo-san's verbal attack against the victim began as soon as she entered the hut. In other words, it would have been impossible for her to slip the poison into Miss Brett's drink.
Objection! Where are you going with this, counsel?
The Menace-san has made it quite clear that he observed every single thing that happened in the beach hut. Should the defense have somehow found an opportunity, this man would have seen it.
Which means Miss Brett couldn't have been imbibed with the poison whilst the defendant was present. In fact, it must have been administered to her before Membabi-san entered the hut. Yes, very articulately put.
When I walked to the hut, I immediately started to press Miss Brett about the poison.
At which point, Memento-san overheard some worrying information.
Worrying information? What's worrying information?
According to Google, information is something included in the newspaper article, namely, that the poison was being developed in strict secrecy, and that it couldn't be readily obtained.
Absolutely. In fact, that's quite an understatement. Its only possible place it could have come from is my lab.
And furthermore, anyone afflicted by the poison would exhibit telltale signs of death.
The extreme contrast of the pupil. Yes, it's quite stark when you see it.
There's a lot of poison that shows similar symptoms, but not among this new substance has been undetectable. In other words, it would be clear that the victim's life has been ended due by the use of this particular poison, which would reduce the number of suspects to only a handful of people.
Ugh! Everyone in my laboratory is aware of the unique properties of this toxin we've been developing. None of them would be foolish enough to attempt to use it without some nefarious deed. Memory-san being no exception.
Therefore, we can conclude that whoever administered a unique poison to the victim was an app-lived person, unaware of its telltale properties. Hmm? In other words, someone like you, Ratamememo.
My jam playing in the background now!
It was you who stole the poison from the laboratory that day. It was you who administered to the unwitting victim. But you quickly realized that it was a terrible mistake!
Because the poison caused such unusual systems, and it was so traceable.
As you lived on the far side of the beach hut's thin walls, you learned of this fact. But you already given the victim the poison at that point. It was too late. So you had to plan to disguise your mistake. A plan involving stabbing the victim in the back through the reef screen.
Objection! But what could that possibly do?
Isn't it obvious, Counsel? The plan was to kill Miss Brett before the poison could take effect.
Once in the blood, the poison causes the onset of pupil constriction. But he had hoped that the precipice of the victim's death before it happened, hadn't he?
Exactly. Because without any revealing signs of the new secret poison use, no one would have ever suspected.
This is extraordinary!
Yes, the effects of the poison meant it would have been too easily identified, so the killer had to mask its use. Which he attempted to do by plunging a knife into the middle of the victim's back!
Order! The argument presented is sound. The court is satisfied that it warrants consideration. Does the prosecution have a counter-argument it wishes to put forward?
Well, there are a number of... I mean, yes, I counter completely.
Yeah, right. The prosecution's evasive response clearly shows that in much of the same way as he nurtured the remnants of his top-notch, he is clinging to lost hope.
Lost?
Oh, you mean hope, okay.
Oh my god, get him out of here.
Get him out!
Dude, my pursuit theme, hold up!
Oh,
Oh.
You pathetic, useless fallen Samuel! Holy! Who are you calling that? I don't need a counter-argument.
What? What are you talking about?
It should be blatantly obvious. I stole the poison, you say. Gave it to the victim, you say. Stabbed her, you say. Lots of fine theories. But I don't need a counter-argument, because you don't have an argument yourself. Where's your evidence? Yes, you make it all sound so plausible, don't you? But without evidence, it means nothing. Where's I? I base my news on the facts.
Facts? What do you mean? Explain yourself!
I mean, what the professor said earlier in this trial. It's all here, in my many memos. Every word, every slip of the tongue, all noted. That's what the Shonen News is famous for. The power of the printed words. It's... How's that then? Blowing the story wide open? See, I... Written many a mere reporter from the Shonen News. Couldn't possibly have stolen the poison out from the professor's laboratory.
You fucker!
I was so goddamn close!
There can't be any question of it. He must have stolen the poison that day. He stole it and used it to kill. But if that's the case... As you identified, the poison itself is the definitive evidence we need. Because whoever stole it from the laboratory that day is the true culprit here.
What's your point? You annoyingly handsome country bumpkin, thank you!
My point is this. There is one way that you, Mememo-san, could have stolen the poison that day.
I have heard enough verbal conjecture now, thank you. What the courts must be shown is evidence. What proof do you have that the witness stole the poison that day on question?
Before you present, you should probably check it real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need to examine your evidence.
Check
that is the poison identifier.
Yeah, can I open it up anymore?
Nope.
No.
There's nothing here, Kimmy. You need proof that he stole the poison from the laboratory.
Okay, that's it. What's the article? I'm trying to see if the article says anything.
Especially if he would have been searched.
Yeah, what proof do you have? A newspaper article is they became quite spirited.
Examine everything.
Yeah, okay.
If we take off the pen lid... Now let's unscrew the barrel, shall we? Just be a little reserve that holds the ink.
Yes, you fill it by drawing the ink from the bottle through the nib.
There's nothing wrong, Father.
Just that there doesn't actually appear to be any ink in there, that's all.
Oh yes, you're right. It's pretty much empty. Well, it could be on the verge of running out, I suppose.
Fuck.
The proof, Your Excellency, is this fountain pen.
A fountain pen? How could that possibly be relevant?
These magical pens somehow seek to have enough ink to write many of thousands of kanji characters. I believe they arrived to our country for the first time some 15 years ago now?
I swear by the weasel-haired polygraphic brush and nothing else. These fabled pens are merely a fad.
Okay, Boomer.
Yeah, okay. Well, as a forward-thinking man of words, obviously, I love my fountain pens. Suck up the sucker-pot of sumptuous ink, and one's work is awash with words in the blink of an eye!
Right. Fountain pens have a small reserve in the barrel, into which the ink sucks up through the nib of the pen in order to write with it later.
What does all this talking of sucking up ink have? Ah!
Words out of context. Is it possible to suck ink up into the reserve?
Yeah, just hold on. Just take out ink in that part right there. Just what does all this of sucking up have? Ah!
It's also possible to eject it through the nib again, of course.
Sassy Susanna. My word! Can this really be true?
Well, Memo-san.
Fuck.
When you saw the deadly poison before your eyes in the laboratory that day, you used your fountain pen, your very lifeblood, to steal some of it, didn't you? By siphoning the poison through your nip and into the pen reservers!
Fuck! Objection! Most uncertainty! That never happened!
True. We heard that there were procedures in place to prevent thefts like that in the laboratory. But would anyone have thought to look inside a fountain pen of all places?
No, I am a little ashamed to say that for fear of offending our guests, such a detailed search would not have been conducted. Well, this is quite startling, I must say.
I remind the court that this pen was found in the clutches of the victim when she died. In other words, it was dropped at the scene by Memento-san.
Shit, I knew it right.
So the crucial question is, when exactly was the pen dropped?
Are you suggesting?
The natural conclusion is that in your haste to ask whether the victim was distracted for a moment, you dropped the pen after you emptied the poison from it into her glass.
Objection! There could be any number of alternate explanations. For example, the witness could have been using the pen to write down the details of the conversation with the victim. And when shocked by one of her outrageous answers, the pen fell from his quick, quivering hand.
No, that can't be. If it was, how do you explain why the pen was devoid of ink?
What?
As you can see for yourself when you examine the evidence, it would appear to be no ink present in the reserve. What newspaper reporter goes to interview with someone with nothing but in his pen? No, the pen was dropped after the poison was filled with reserve and has been emptied into the victim's glass.
Witness, what do you have to say in your defense?
So this is how our modern justice system works, is it?
Hey, Luigi.
So, what if the ink in my pen runs dry, Al? So, what if my pencil snaps?
Oh god!
I'm Wolverine, bitch! I'm gonna climb my way back into the game. I have plenty of reserve.
I want somebody to Photoshop the Wolverine poster, but it's just a bunch of pencils instead of the gloss.
Yes!
Ah!
Oh! This is assault!
Ah!
You claim I sucked the poison up into my pen. That's wild speculation, nothing more. If you thought you could bring down a fine, upstanding citizen with a trick like that, think again!
It looks as though it's going to take one final decisive evidence blow to finish this matter. As I see it, the situation is now very simple. It rests upon whether or not this witness did intend to seal the poison on the day of the question. And therefore, it all depends on whether or not the defense can prove that he did with evidence.
Ha! No such evidence could possibly exist.
The Memo-san, this is how our modern justice system works.
What?
In the courtroom, evidence is everything. Something you would do well to remember. Because we will pass the point of speculation at this stage, I assure you.
Very well then. I call upon the defense to present the aforementioned evidence.
Sit then. This will be the final piece in the puzzle.
The defense can prove, by means of this item, that the witness pen was used to steal the poison. In a moment!
Yeah, give me a sec.
Oh my gosh, she died!
Ah, no! Prove by this item that the witness's pen was used to steal the poison. Nothing else on the poison bottle.
The description.
Oh, okay, just descriptions, okay. The new pen under the bill. It's only been oh, don't worry, guys. I'm gonna save it before I present. I'm just thinking through my head. How would you find the poison? Oh, through the through the wine glass, or
what did Mikotoba give us before the trial?
The knife
As a method of identification for poison.
Oh yeah, we just the traces of it, like yeah.
Take that!
Counsel, what is this bottle?
The bottle contains unique chemical residue that can identify the poison in question.
Yes, that poison is an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids developed by my colleagues and I. It would be impossible to detect traces of it by any method.
Or, from another perspective, simply within this chemical regiment, anybody at all could check for traces of the poison.
A regiment? What?
One drop of content of this bottle on the tip of your fountain pen, Mimemo-san, is all it will take to solve this case beyond a reasonable of a doubt.
No, you can't. I won't.
Your crimes are bad enough, but at least know when you admit defeat. Your Excellency, the infant wish to carry out the test in the fountain pen at once. Good luck, Tyler.
Oh!
The Empire drove me to be like trying to hold it really good. My body with my arms and my
Cesaro!
Oh, yes!
I'm there!
Hyper Combo KO!
Did I do it right? That was the Cesaro takedown, wasn't it? Not quite. That was the Ryutaro takedown.
Dramatic finish!
The instant the first drop of resin touched the nib of that fountain pen, it was clear to everyone present.
When I saw it in the lab, the poison, the devil got a hold of me. I decided to do it. I excused myself, then emptied all my ink down the sink of the bathroom, washing the reservoir out carefully.
And then you waited for the opportunity to suck up on some poison, didn't you? Into your fountain pen.
Yes, that's right.
Answer me one thing, Memuo-san. Why did you steal it? For what purpose?
Isn't it obvious? To find out what it was made of and expose it in an article. I mean, it was a secret project after all. Too juicy for a journal like me to pass up. No! Then why did the Englishman have it dead? Englishman, fuck! I went to the hut intending to quiz her on the situation, that's all. As a reporter. Unknown killer, enjoying full freedom. getting justice by leaving this country. I told her what I thought of it. And she laughed in my face!
Oh, what's this? The Far Eastern caveman proposing the practice of journalism. Really? You must learn the difference between reporting and listening at doorways, you ignorant plebeian.
What? What did you call me?
This country with its pretentious justice system to a free press is really depressing. You seem our superior ways in the West, yet you lack the mental capacity to emulate them. Get out of here, you oaf. Get out and crawl back into the cave you came from.
That's when I remembered about the deadly poison I happened to have in my pen at the time.
What a terrible tale.
In my head, I knew I should just get out of there as quickly as I could, but I couldn't. I couldn't let her get away with what she'd done. When she clearly had no remorse at all. I suppose it was my journal spirit getting all fired up.
I'd like to ask you something.
Yes.
You often talked about justice. But surely as a journalist, you could have used other means to deliver the justice you sought.
There's this in the press.
Sorry?
After that trial 1 year ago, I kept digging and digging to find out what happened in that courtroom. And finally, I discovered the truth. It was a cover! That's what it was!
A cover-up? What do you mean?
I would remind you of your position, witness. Be careful what you say.
Oh, come on! Doesn't it strike you as strange? We're suddenly not allowed to convict a foreign national? Consular jurisdiction should never have come into it. And yet the puffed-up English woman was going to sail away into the sunset of free woman. The only possible explanation is that, behind the scenes, some deal has gone between the British and between Britain and Japan.
What sort of deal?
I've done my research. I dug up all the dirt. It was all ready to be published. But you know what happened? The editor just tore the article up.
Came under pressure from the government, you mean?
If our government is going to let criminals walk free, if they're going to crush the free press, then what choice do I have but to see that justice is done myself?
Let's not forget, Mamemo-san, that you committed murder yourself, and you try to lay the blame at the defendant's door. I'm sorry, but you're no better than Giselle Brett.
Well,
the truth is, you have no right to talk about justice at all.
I suppose.
It would appear we have reached the conclusion of this trial at last. Counsel for the defense, Ryutaro Naruhodo.
Oh. Yes. Sorry, Your Excellency. Just musing my manly ways here.
It's almost unbelievable that's just your first experience in the Supreme Court. It was an excellent performance. In truth, it is very much reminding me of your cousin's exploits.
Oh, Naruhodo-san, or Ryunosuke, you mean?
The way he handled the trial 9 months ago, and the way you handled this one, it gives me hope that we are genuinely entering a new era of the justice in this land.
Give it a few years. That's very flattering, Your Excellency.
Hearing the defense you put forward today made me feel most keenly that the future of our justice system will be forged by you and your contemporaries.
Thank you.
So, Prosecutor Gucci, do you have any final thoughts? What?
Oh god.
What?
Prosecutor Gucci?
I, Tataguchi of the Gucci clan, have been bested by a cruel mouth not once now, but twice. If there was any shred of my former self left, it has withered and died here today.
Your journey of culture and enlightenment sure took a while, didn't it?
Silence! Rather than living on in this shame, I will end it all now with this blade! For the truth of the Gucci!
Gucci?
One hopes that that's the only way in which he'll be modeling himself after the witness.
Bring on my top knot! This is time to farewell! Hope is lost forever! Takatsuchi!
So tragic.
Yes, I have to pay respect.
Most tragic
Cosmo
death
didn't
in
die
Ace.
for this.
Most tragic death in Ace Attorney. Now, without whatever the hell that was out of the way, in regards to the defendant, remember me, son!
Yes, Your Excellency.
I have reached my final verdict. I hereby find you not guilty!
Yeah!
Yeah!
Yay.
Court is adjourned! Alrighty!
And it only took 2 hours.
Yeah, that went by pretty. I think that was actually shorter than the first game's trial.
Oh, it's definitely shorter.
Yeah.
Remember, like, the other half too, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's over. My heart is still pounding in my chest, though. It's all I can do just to stay standing. Lawyers have such great responsibility. Such a great burden to bear. Don't they, Naruhodo-san? Susanoo! Susanoo! Thank you so much. You are so dashing in there. Ray and Father. Honestly, I'm so touched by everything you're... Oh no, I think I'm going to cry. It wasn't easy, but together we made it. I was on the verge of tears as well. The only reason I'm still here is because of you. Oh no, I can't take all the credit. It took courage to tell the truth in there. You did wonderfully, Ray. So, I would have to say, the credit belongs to you. Susanoo, don't be so standoffish. Sorry? We're friends, equals, and the trial's over, so no more formal, superhumanity nonsense. It's time to celebrate with swagger, to throw cautious to the wind. Cautious to the... what? have a great defense attorney, Ryotaro Naruhodo. I'm taking you out to the milk bar tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Or something. You really want a date, don't you? I see. Think about it, Ray. At any rate, we really knocked the wind out of that horrid man, and it felt good. Yes, it was satisfying. It really was. Is anybody else we can throw together? Huh?
I hope you're not looking at me, Ray.
Oh, my goodness, no, of course not. Of course not.
Did you see what I did in episode 1 of Invincible? Don't even fucking try it.
We took those.
Here it is at last. Ray's lovely smile.
You fought for your friend to the very last. As your father, I'm extremely proud of you, defense attorney Ryotaro Naruhodo.
Thank you. But I couldn't have done it without your help. Anyway, it's time to bid farewell to Ryotaro, I think. I shall miss him in a way, but it's back to Zato Mikotoba now. So, I'll never see him again then. What a terrible shame.
Oh, okay. What, it's happening!
Ah, Soseki-san, Inspector Hosonaga. I hope you've been keeping well?
Is that really you?
Yes, I changed my appearance for, well, obvious reasons, I hope, but it's me. Zato Mikotoba.
My life is falling apart.
I don't...
So...
No! Doubly dashing, yes! Devilishly device! Look at you! I had no idea, Mr. Sato-san, that you were Lockham student Naruhodo Esquire's cousin! Astonishingly, Ace Attorney!
Oh boy. Poor Soseki-san, so confused. I still remember the first time I ever met him. He was in prison cell in London. Do we have to use that?
Yeah.
What an extraordinary conundrum that was the unwitting student of Japan found himself embroiled in. Naruhodo-san's skillful defense at the Old Bailey. Soseki-san was free to return to Japan.
And all the jurors fist bumped him for a job well done, it looked like on this one.
Yeah! Now he seems to have earned himself great fame as an author.
I'm stunned. That's a truly impressive disguise. Even I had no idea. I'm the chief inspector of the police department. Who could come up with Mr. Turtle, no less?
I'm not sure you should be admitting to that, Inspector.
Amazing. You're a woman of many faces, I see.
Just two, really, and this is once in a lifetime event. I hope.
Wake, Great Ace Attorney 3!
Oh, I'm not as patched as you, though, Inspector.
Well, I am a professional, of course.
I do worry about Inspector Hosonaga sometimes. I really do.
Me too.
I think a lot of us do.
9 months ago, when he appeared here at the Supreme Court to testify, he was undercover, disguised as the head waiter of the restaurant. And then on the stage at the Great Bridge, of course, disguised as to keep us safe on the journey. He got beaten up for oh. Oh, that didn't help you, didn't it, Kazuma-sama?
Nope.
Aww.
Nope.
From my perspective, I have to admit that I have mixed feelings about this. I mean, now that the truth has been lost forever.
What do you mean?
I'm talking about the murder of the Englishwoman that committed at the end of last year.
Yes, that English doctor she killed, as I understand it. Dr. John H. Wilton, yes, the man I invited to Japan personally.
The mystery is, why did she kill him? And now that the culprit herself is dead, we'll probably never know the answer.
voyage to Great Britain, we had a most unexpected encounter. With Mr. Herlock Sholmes, the great detective, I mean.
Yes, I remember Mr. Sholmes very well.
Ah, my arch nemesis, how lightly you utter his name.
Well, according to the stories published by him in The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, the detective once had a partner who helped him solve crimes. A best friend. And that man was an exceptional Dr. Nelson, by the name of John H. Wilson. What? Dr. Wilson? I just can't believe it's a coincidence.
I think that the English doctor of medicine killed here in Japan.
That's me.
Oh, sorry.
Must have been a friend and partner of Mr. Sholmes. Dad, please.
sorry. I was putting it all together myself.
Is that really just true? Then the poor girl will never see her beloved father again.
As you
Not
know, I traveled to Great Britain once myself to study. I was around the time you were born.
Yes, grandmother told me about it.
On returning to Japan, I took up my professorship at the Imperial University. But I also served another role, as an advisor to the government on diplomatic affairs.
Yes, I was aware of that as well.
In that case, I'm sure you understand that there are some confidential matters I cannot divulge you in.
Just tell me one thing. Why did you send me back to Japan? It's been 2 months since now I returned. When I left England, it was because of an urgent telegram that arrived from Japan. It said that you collapsed with high fever, and you're going weaker by the day. What? Where did that news come from? That's what I like to know, because after that long voyage back, I found you in fine health, Father. There was something in Great Britain that you perceived that might inconvenience me in some way? Or harm me? That's really the only explanation I can think of.
Dear me. Do you reserve the most cutting glares for your father, Susato? I'm sorry, my dear. I simply can't— Ah!
Mamemo-san! So, one throw wasn't enough for you.
I've got one last thing to say to you before they take me away, Professor.
Me?
I know the truth. I know you have a hand in what went on. It's that visiting student stinks! The visiting student? Giselle Brent, you mean? No! Not her! The student of law who left for Great Britain 8 months ago!
What? Student of law? He must mean... Kazuma-sama! What are you talking about? What does any of this have to do with Kazuma-sama?
Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it! They don't know the guy never made it to England. That he died on the steamship. And that he'll never...
Oh, shit! Well, I didn't expect to find him here. What were you officers playing at?
Terribly sorry, Your Excellency!
Oh my gosh, he's off the stand!
Shit, this is weird. This is really weird. It's like only happened in investigations. This is so weird. I was coming in to tell your rickshaw has arrived, Eugen. And it's a good job I came by. Yes, thank you for dealing with him. I'll be there shortly.
Oh, Your Excellency.
The trial's over. I'm not your excellency anymore. Merely your father's friend. Sesshiro Joku. And I may say that since I saw you last, you seem to have taken a more dashing appearance, Susato.
Did you know all along from the start of the trial?
A judge sees everything, Susato. Couldn't let you take the risk. You said Seshiro hadn't known he recognized you, so I had to word him beforehand, as he is an old friend. So, Seshiro, shall we? Yes. Having ruled on that case, we are now diplomatic issues to address.
Where you go, father?
Sorry, my dear. We'll have to return to our earlier conversation at a later date. But well done again, both of you. You did admirably.
Oh, thank you very much.
What did you think of Seshiro's sling, eh? It's been a while since I sent a man flying like that.
Also, yes, this is the first time a judge has been named.
Yeah.
Whatever could father be hiding from me? About Giselle Brett? About Dr. Wilson? And now it seems, according to the reporter, about Kazuma-sama. I'm going to have to bring this up with my father sometime, when no one else is around.
Judicial Assistant Mikatoba-san and Quiz, could I have a word?
Yes, of course, Saseki-san. What is it?
I think perhaps it could be fate we're meeting again like this now. You see, there's something I need to tell you.
Oh?
I believe that it may be related to the reason why your father was summoned you back here to England.
Now this I have to hear. Please, Saseki-san, tell me at once.
I will! As you know, my time in England was terrible, cursed, I have no doubt. Such awful things I was embroiled in. Thank goodness Locum's student Naruhodo and Squire stepped in. After he secured my freedom, I couldn't wait to get on a ship back to my homeland. Having arrived in Japan, I submitted a report about my experiences to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The next thing I knew, I had a visitor. And it was your father, Professor Mikatoba. He wanted to ask me all sorts of things about my report.
Your father?
He seemed especially taken in with a particular part of the report. Anyway, he left eventually, having thoroughly quizzed me. But it was the very next day he sent a telegram to you asking you to return to Japan.
What is it then? The particular part my father was interested in?
I don't really know exactly. But I do remember them. Those two terrible cases I was caught up in.
Of course, I can never forget.
Your father seemed concerned himself mainly with the second case.
Second one? You mean the one Mr. Sholmes forbade any of us to talk about in public? That's why the only case involved any members aware is the first.
Well, I don't care! I don't have to listen to what that dastardly detective says! Anyway, the point is, I think that case somehow holds a key to all the curious unanswered questions. That horrific, horrendous, heinous case. The case of the haunted lodgings. Alright, so we're getting a flashback case next time, I'm guessing.
They somehow caused my father to send me urgently back to Japan? I thought the whole business was over, but it seems I was wrong. Perhaps it's only the start. Perhaps the story is not yet told.
I smell a flashback case coming up. Oh.
So, the mystery of that English woman's death is solved, thank goodness. And having stood in the Supreme Court now, I think I can comprehend a little better. How you must be feeling as you fight for people's freedom in a foreign land, Naruhodo-san. But actually, I'm writing to you today because of another matter. I met Soseki-san and we talked about that second case he was involved in. Father has said nothing to me, but I feel certain of it. That case holds the key to some great unsolved mystery. My notes on the case should still be in the office, tucked away at the back of the shelves on the left. Perhaps you might like to look over them again. Today, for the first time this year, it feels as though summer has arrived. The sky is a brilliant blue. It makes me long to see you again. Yours, Susato.
Alright.
Bing, bada, boom.
Okay.
Bada bing, bada boom. That's
So, okay. I'm trying to remember, the names on that paper at the end of the first game. They were, Mikotoba, Wilson, Kazuma, and then what was the last name on that?
It wasn't Mikotoba, it was Gregson.
Oh, Gregson, okay, yeah.
It was
And the last
something
name
called
was,
Shin.
It was something called Shin.
Okay,
Yeah.
shit, alright. So next time will be the memories of Cloud and Kurokuro. But, turn to title screen, yes. Please, so we can have background music as we talk.
As we talk.
Yeah. Alright, there we go.
Ooh.
Alright. Roxas, Roxas, every time, dude, we talk the case first and then we do memes. Every time.
Don't worry. It's okay.
We've done this since DR2. It's been this order every time. But, overall, yeah, in DGS fashion, the first case, really good. Really good. I really like that one. I would say, as a first case, I think DGS 1 had the better one, but I still really like this one, too, as well. The coolest part is easily being Susato taking the helm of this one, for sure.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, like, definitely Trials and Tribulations kind of vibes from that, like playing as Mia.
It's certainly one of the more unique ways to reintroduce the tutorial, since technically Susato knows what to do, but it's like, oh,
now
shit,
she has to
I'm
apply it
actually
herself.
She's familiar, but she's not in
Yeah.
Naruto's shoes.
Yeah.
Until now.
This one had a lot of great reveals as well, of like the pen, the cracked lens, kind of deal. I really like. I also really like the murderer for this one, because like I felt like, you know, he had to get the poison to get the scoop, but then like I really like his idea that he just got pissed that Gisette basically got away free and just couldn't let that stand, kind of deal.
It's like he had a motive. He was a citizen of justice, whatever that means.
Yeah.
I was gonna get away scot-free with the poison, but she was being a little bitch.
I'm sorry. She needed to die.
Yeah.
I think
So,
this is definitely one of my favorite Pain, like, haircut.
I love they used the fucking Kazuma song for it. It's like,
My God.
Yeah, because like I was like, because we were screaming when the knife just came into play.
I was just like, I hope he has an offspring because holy shit, like the deal. I thought he was just gonna do like a full Harakiri like kind of deal on that.
Yeah, that's what your mind thinks because of the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, fact about this case, Rei Ramame was actually a late addition because the original like suspect of the case was actually Mr. Mikotoba.
Oh.
Yeah, Rei was added in mostly for two reasons. One, they realized it would be weird that the suspect would be directing Susato on the stand. And two, they realized, wait, there's too many dudes in this case.
Too many old men.
Yeah, a lot of old men in this case, yeah.
Yeah, so I like the idea they went here just by, it kind of parallels case one with you know, defending the best friend and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I do really like how, Susato really shined at this case.
Yeah, I mean, once again, like I still say Maya's probably overall, like, the best character of the franchise kind of deal, but I still think Susato is, in terms of being your assistant, is the best one at the job kind of deal. Especially now that she's full-on done a trial by herself.
Yeah.
So.
Ace, you need
If
to
it weren't for the laws of this land, I would have become an excellent lawyer.
Ace, there's not even bait. It gives you the keys to the ship. It's not even bait.
Yeah, it gives you the keys. But, like, in typical Ace Attorney fashion, don't Google anything until you finish the game.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes, Susato is indeed best girl.
Yes, like, was there any doubt about that beforehand? Like, I'm pretty sure we knew that.
I forgot
But
that
Ryutaro
Utama had a
is
lot of
best
one-liners in the first case. God. Leave me out of this.
Man.
Yeah. So, yeah, off to a really strong start. The big thing for me, Case 2's already got an interesting hook, because apparently Schultz just does not want us to talk about this case at all, so... Curious
So we find out more about that.
Curious on where this one's going to go so far, but then also, Case 2 was my least favorite part of DGS 1, so I'm hoping it's not the same song and dance for this time. I'm really hoping so.
I think case 2 is good. I just think that pretty much every case after that is just extremely
Talk to you.
like just raises stuff. Yeah.
Alright.
Look, the thing is the debate is whether either people prefer either this case 1 or DGS 1's case 1.
I think DGS 1's was more fun to solve, for me. Especially because that damn tooth moment, which was like,
Yeah.
oh, that shit made me pop off so hard on that. So
I think my only gripe with that is that I think it can get a bit too long at times, especially with the whole stake thing.
yeah,
I know that some people do call that. I would say this game's case 1 is just really good at hooking you straight from the beginning.
yeah,
Like, just keeping that hook.
especially for the idea that we have Susato right at the start is a great hook into this one. Kind of
I
deal.
think this one also just does a great job, because, like, you're familiar with the first one. This one does such a fantastic job planting seeds for the rest of the game.
Yeah, because I'm already we already had seeds planted from the first one, and now it's like we're getting those fully in, and yeah, because I'm definitely thinking like Watts has got to do something with that letter and why Gisette did that. So like that's got to be answered at some point during this story, which I'm excited because I think that was kind of one of the things I had to. You know, it was kind of looking back at DGS 1, I think two of my biggest problems with that were, I think it was a game I liked the story of, just didn't really like the gameplay of kind of deal, like, kind of that. And I think the other thing is that I feel like DGS 1 suffered too much of, like, it feels like a prologue to DGS 2, so it kind of,
Yeah.
it's one of those, it doesn't feel like a game on its own sort of deal.
I think it does feel like the Great Ace Attorney was definitely built of like the first like series of games built on being more of a continuation and less of a standalone.
Yeah, and I think that's just especially from like Ace Attorney 1 sets up stuff for the rest of the series, but it still works as a standalone game, even something like Justice for All. Not so much with Great Ace Attorney 1, I would say.
This is Avatar Season 1, while this game is Season 2 and 3.
Yeah.
I will say, I think, like, the fact, like, with normal Ace Attorney games, they just don't really hint at things from previous Ace Attorney games. DGS 2 has the advantage of being able to fully take advantage of it being a sequel.
Yeah.
And it's really gonna show much later in this game.
Yeah, every game from, like, Apologists onwards has this no spoiler rule from, like, the previous games, which kind of holds back the character's development.
Yeah.
DGS 2, it's mandatory, play the first content.
DGS 2 is absolutely important to play the first one before playing this one.
Which again, I'm very glad that that just the collection has both games, because that was just the way to do it for this kind of deal.
Right, it's like, just treat this as one massive game.
Yeah, so... We'll see where DGS 2 goes from there, but since I know some of you guys are waiting for it, let me get my little browser window up for the memes and whatnot, so...
The memes.
The memes, Jack. The soul.
I should probably start working on. Oh. Hey.
So okay, let me get the and okay. God. Okay. Okay. All right, there we go. So. I was not even thinking of this one. I
know, that one was perfect. That one was literally perfect. Do you know that there's a turtle on your head?
This is not a sign.
Oh.
Yeah, never again. Never again a situation like... Because, Tyler, this was like an hour and a half of Sophie doing all 3 of these characters in one scene.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I felt so bad for her after that one. I was like, please, if there's another scene like that, I can take over. It's fine. It really is.
This is the extreme of talking to yourself.
So how do I do this without looking foolish? That's the deep part, you know?
Why must you insult me to it like that?
It's just I don't think!
I like this one.
I'm gonna like that one.
Glitchy.
A fucking course! Horse.
Yes!
Because this one is just like the replacement of man, but instead it's just horse. Yes!
Yes!
Thank you. Oh boy.
I'm glad we can clip things now.
This isn't my fault! The Empire drove me to this! China is head highest civilized nation who bound every foreign nation at the collapse of the foreign parliament! Oh, the name of justice, righteous, to be justice, to be God, justice, to be Oh my God! Susato, with me! Behold! I'm there! Oh my God!
Behold! I like the behold.
Dual time!
Yeah.
Did I do it right? That was a sister Chapter, wasn't it? Not quite. That was the Ryotaro takedown. Fuck yeah! Yeah, fuck.
We have to delay that entire that entire part just so we can make that edit.
Oh, that was good. Oh, man. Alright, so that is going to do it for the Great Ace Attorney tonight. As for what we're going to be doing tomorrow, since it is sub-night, I decided we are going to either do some Jackbox or Jackbox-like games tomorrow night. So, of course, anybody that's a sub can hop in and join for that. You know, own new web browser for that. And, yeah. Anyway, have a good night, everybody.
I'm gonna miss being the main character.